Welcome to the Badass Breastfeeding Podcast. This is Dianne, your lactation consultant.
And this is Abby, the Badass Breastfeeder. And today's episode is brought to you by Nursing Queen. This brand is a game changer for breastfeeding moms, making life so much easier when you're traveling for the holidays or out and about running errands or pumping at work or just wanting to look cool in your cool clothes. We will hear more about Nursing Queen later, but you can head to badassbreastfeedingpodcast.com. Check out our sponsor page. If you ever need anything, see if you can give any of them your business, even if it's not a current sponsor, because they make this podcast possible. They're all there, all the people that we've worked with, and we really curate the people that we work with. So there's good brands there that you can feel good about giving your money to. And while you're there, you can scroll down and enter your email address, and we'll send episodes straight to your inbox every week. And we're on Patreon, and we would love for you to come on over and see the original content that we've got going, our Zoom Hangouts and our extra ad-free episodes where we talk a lot about parenting. If you want to veer off into the parenting zone a little bit, Patreon is a good place to do that. And you can check the top link at the top of the show notes under this episode, wherever you're listening from. And that was a lot of like top and under and behind. And just go to the show notes. The link will be there. And you can check out the different tiers and see if there is one of those that looks good to you. And we're still hosting our ongoing giveaway forever and ever of people who leave reviews around the internet. And if you've already left a review, and it's been a while, leave another review. If you've already left, if you've already left a review, or you have a podcast platform that you listen on that you can't leave a review on, and you share it on your Facebook page or share it somehow with your friends or something, that's what we're looking for, is just more listeners. So send us a screenshot of whatever you're doing, and we will send you a goodie bag of Thank You for Nursing in Public cards and podcast stickers. I've noticed in the email, our Badass Breastfeeding Podcast at gmail.com, there are some emails in there of people who have shared the content. So people are doing it. And send your address as well, so we can get that goodie bag to you, and you can spread the, stickers and the cards around your community. It's always fun. And now Dianne has our review of the week.
I do. And it's a short and sweet one, but I love it. It's my new favorite. I'm an IBCLC. I do home visits, and this is my podcast of choice to listen to while I drive around. I am so honored that other IBCLCs listen to this podcast.
I know. That's really cool.
It is so cool. It really is. It is so cool. I mean, I just love it. So thank you so much. And thank you so much for, letting us know that you are a listener. And thank you for leaving a review.
And, we have some podcast like flyers that we were bringing to conferences when we were going to these things last year. And we didn't go this year to any cities. But if you're a lactation consultant or some sort of professional and you're sharing the information around, send me an email and I can send you some of the flyers if you want. And you can give them to your clients.
Yeah.
Because, they're just sitting in my house, and I think about where I can spread them around. And I know people in my neighborhood are sick of seeing them because I'm like, here's my little cards. I'm going to put it in like, Thank You for Nursing in Public cards in the little libraries. And I know people take them because they are gone, but also we could expand this a little bit beyond Rogers Park, Chicago.
Yeah, for sure.
But we got stuff if you want to spread it around. If you're a professional who's, referring the podcast to clients, you can, we'll send you some stuff to give out.
And we do hear people, we have had people ask us before, like, I'm at a WIC clinic. Do you have something I can hand out? Mm-hmm. And that's, absolutely, we can help you out with that. Or, doing an event and want to have stuff.
Yeah, some people will be like around like World Breastfeeding Week. People will sometimes email and be like, "Do you have anything that we can give away, like in a giveaway or something?"
Yeah,
and yeah, we can send you like a sticker packs or like we're Diane and I are very into stickers, so
we are. Yes,
we always have like sticker packs that we can give you.
Yeah, so just let us know what you need, and you can email us, and we'll help you out. We will answer you. We will.
Give me a second. Give me a second, but I will answer you for sure.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, we're not those people that are like, oh yeah, email us, and then you never hear from us.
No,
well,
you might not hear from me for a few days, but I will see your email and I will be like, I'm coming back to answer this email.
Yeah, it'll happen.
So yeah. So today we're talking about engorgement and secondary engorgement, and I have no idea what the hell that is. So
I know Abby was like, I'm going to learn today too, because I don't know what secondary
engorgement is something I've never heard in my life.
Yeah. So engorgement is when the milk comes in and you're full and painful. We're going to talk about that. And secondary engorgement is when your breasts become hard and painful due to infrequent feeding. This is after your milk supply has already been established.
Oh, okay.
Infrequent feeding, change in feeding patterns, oversupply, like those reasons. Say maybe your baby sleeps longer and you wake up and you're full and hard, and you're 2 months into your breastfeeding relationship. That is secondary engorgement.
Oh,
yeah. Also known as pathological engorgement.
Oh,
but
God. Secondary is much nicer to hear. Jeez.
Easier.
Pathological.
I know. Everything's like pathological. So engorgement is when your milk starts to come in. So we know that when, you're pregnant, you're making colostrum. Colostrum's amazing. It's very important for your baby to have, but a lot of people go, I don't have any milk. That's what they think those first couple of days, because it takes about 3 days or so for your milk supply to come in. And your milk does not start to, your milk is not triggered to come in or to start being, the process of it changing from colostrum to milk. That does not start to happen until the placenta leaves your body. That's what the clue is. That's what the trigger is. The placenta leaves your body. It's a change in progesterone and estrogen, and it causes a dip in that progesterone, which makes your prolactin levels rise. It's a whole hormonal thing that happens. And it's like the biggest hormonal flush you'll ever have in your life is after your baby is born, is when you have these huge hormonal transitions. But that is what causes your milk supply to start transitioning from colostrum into milk. And that doesn't happen for about, the placenta obviously leaves your body right after the baby is born. But the milk, it takes a couple of days for your milk supply to actually come in. And that is very normal and expected. And we plan on that. But your baby does not need anything but colostrum for those first few days of its life. That is how nature has intended it to be. Your baby does not need a full milk supply on day one because they can't handle a full milk supply on day one. If they could handle a full milk supply on day one, your milk supply would be here on day one.
Right.
But they don't.
Because your body knows what it's doing. It knows what your baby
knows what
needs.
It's doing. Yeah. Body knows exactly what it needs to do, and it's doing it. And we need to give it the chance and the opportunity to do what it needs to do. So your milk starts to come in around day 3. Sometimes things happen that make it longer than that. And those things could be like first-time C-section. That can cause maybe a day or so delay, a lot more trauma to your body. Blood hemorrhage, if you're hemorrhaged after your baby was born, or had a postpartum hemorrhage at some point after your baby was born, that could cause your milk supply to be a little bit delayed as well. But your milk is still going to come in. Like there's no stopping it. So you might start feeling that milk coming in day 3. You might start to feel a little bit like your breast might start to feel a little heavy. You might notice your baby swallowing a little bit more. Maybe you're leaking a little bit. Maybe you're not leaking. That's fine. The breast might feel warm. You might have a low-grade fever. Do you remember when your milk came in?
I don't know. Not really.
No, I remember it with Nathan, with my first one. I don't remember it with the twins, but I remember it with him because I was like, what the hell is this? And I was like so full, and it was July, and I was smaller breasted then anyway because I exercised constantly and I was a runner. So I was really thin, and I had these huge boobs all of a sudden.
Yeah. That's what
I was like, I look obscene. I can't go out in public like this.
I know, and it's usually so embarrassing.
It was. And I will tell you, I'll be the first one to tell you, like, that's how I felt. But when I see people at that stage of their breastfeeding journey where their milk is just starting to come in, I have never thought, oh my gosh, this person looks obscene. Like, it just doesn't, to us, it doesn't look like that.
No.
Yeah. But to you, like, people are like, my boobs are huge.
Right.
And it's like, no, they just look normal, but to you, they might feel like really big. You might notice that they're a lot bigger, they're a lot more full. That is your milk coming in. If you received a lot of fluid during your labor and delivery, you might be fuller because that fluid swells up the breast tissue and causes more fullness with that milk coming in, which can cause a lot of problems because then you're like full, really full, a lot more full than you would be if it was just milk. So there's a lot of fluid there. Fluid, blood, milk, all sorts of stuff happening, which makes you feel very full. It can get hard. If you're not feeding regularly, those breasts can become hard and uncomfortable and painful and sore. So the best thing to do is to feed as frequently as you can, as frequently as the baby wants. I mean, you're feeding on demand, but now we have this little baby who has this tiny stomach and they need to eat more frequently because they can only hold a very small volume. So those frequent feeds are important for the baby, but they're also important for you because they're going to help to keep you way more comfortable. So that is really important to do. Now, things that can happen that can cause more problems with engorgement, like I said, if you receive a lot of fluid, that can help, to really kind of increase the fluid in the breast tissue, which might cause more fullness and heaviness and pain with the engorgement. Pitocin. Now, Pitocin, which is very common, it's used for inductions. It's used to stimulate the uterus. So they give it a lot after your baby's born as well, so that your uterus will go down and keep you from getting a hemorrhage. That's what they use it for afterwards.
Mm-hmm.
And Pitocin works as an antidiuretic, which tells your body to hold on to all that fluid. So if you receive Pitocin, you might be a little bit swollen for a little bit longer because your body is not letting that fluid go like it would normally.
Yeah.
So drinking lots of water, which I know sounds counterintuitive, but it really helps to flush things out. The things to do with engorgement, if you are feeling full and uncomfortable, which you might be feeling that, especially if you had a lot of fluid, especially, if maybe it's your second, third baby, you have more milk with each baby. So if you might have not felt a lot of fullness with that first baby with the milk coming in, but maybe the second one was a lot more, or the third one you really felt it. It is important, like I said, to continue to feed on demand, feed as frequently as you can from the start, from the minute your baby is born. If you are feeding on demand and you're really keeping up with feeds, that is going to help you as your milk is transitioning. Ice is super helpful, like ice packs on the breasts after you feed. That is one of the best things that you can do because it is just swelling. And it is like such a game changer to do some ice after a feeding because then your body is kind of reacting. You can do like, I remember in the hospital, sometimes we would put ice in like garbage bags because they're big garbage bags and you can put them over both breasts. So that was really a great thing to do. Sometimes they would put diapers, like wet the inside of a diaper, put those in the freezer. And then when they freeze up, wrap the breast with the diaper because a newborn diaper is like the size of a breast. Yeah. So that was something that we used to do. That was really creative. If you're home, you can do like bags of frozen vegetables. Oh, yeah. You know, like frozen peas. Those can form really well to the breast too. So that can be really helpful. But ice for like 10, 15 minutes after the baby feeds, and that will really help you to stay a lot more comfortable. And this passes pretty quickly. Like engorgement doesn't stay with you. Like, don't feel like, oh my gosh, this is what my breastfeeding relationship is going to be about. This is terrible. Like you are full and uncomfortable for maybe 2 or 3 days as your body starts to adjust to what the baby needs. And then your supply starts to become regulated as you continue on with breastfeeding. And you're not going to feel like that anymore. So it really does make a huge difference to just feed, ice the breasts. You're already probably taking like ibuprofen anyway, so that would really help. I mean, most people are taking it after they have a baby. If you're not taking it, you can. And that will help with the swelling and the engorgement as well. But just know that it's not going to last forever, that it's only a couple of days and you're going to feel more comfortable in a couple of days and it's going to pass and your body's going to regulate its supply and you're going to be just fine. So you might just have that discomfort for a couple of days. Not a big deal. But we should probably take a break and then we're going to talk about secondary engorgement.
Oh, right.
Pathological.
Pathological. That sounds scary. All right, we'll be right back. Today's episode is brought to you by Nursing Queen. This brand is a game changer for breastfeeding moms because it's going to make your life easier when you're traveling for the holidays that are coming up or when you're out running errands or you have to pump at work. Their tops and dresses are designed with hidden access for nursing and pumping. The zippers, you can't see them.
No, I can't.
I was playing with my sweatshirt the other day and I was like, after how many years have I had this sweatshirt, you still can't see the zipper. Like it hasn't like stretched or anything. It's just, you still can't see it. Forget trying to lift up your entire shirt or completely undress to feed. The sweatshirts are perfect for cooler weather and they have options for warm weather and cool weather. And they have also dropped some new designs for winter. So you're going to want to check those out. I love everything there. You have to go to nursingqueen.com. That's Nursing Queen, like all y'all are. And use code BADASS for 10% off your purchase of these really awesome clothes that I haven't breastfed in forever. And I'm like, ooh, I think I want that shirt.
I know. I was looking at stuff the other day.
It's really cool. It's like, it's come a long way. I mean, the clothes are very cool. Very much like what I like. So you can head to badassbreastfeedingpodcast.com or check the show notes for the link and the code, although it is badass. So hopefully you can remember that. And at badassbreastfeedingpodcast.com, you'll find out all of our other episodes. You'll find our favorite resources. and information about scheduling your very own one-on-one online lactation consultation with Dianne.
Yeah. All right. So secondary engorgement. What the hell is that? It is when you've been feeding your baby, you're going along, you're feeding your baby, everything is fine and dandy. And for example, your baby decides that they want to sleep for 5 hours overnight.
Yep.
Instead of getting up at 3 hours. So you wake up after 5 hours of sleeping instead of 3 hours the night before, and your breasts are hard and full. That is secondary engorgement. That is engorgement that is happening after initial engorgement has already happened. So this can happen if you are, like, if there's a change in the feeding patterns. Like I said, if your baby sleeps a little bit longer, maybe they are changing up their feeding pattern a little bit and you didn't feed right away, and whatever's going on with your feeding patterns, that can happen. You can get that secondary engorgement. Oversupply. You might be full and uncomfortable. If you have oversupply, please see somebody, because oversupply is really frustrating. And you could be full and uncomfortable, like, quite frequently with oversupply. So you want to try to kind of get that under control so you're not feeling so full and uncomfortable all the time. The engorgement is going to be what engorgement is. It's going to make you feel full, uncomfortable. You're going to do the same kinds of things. You're going to be doing ice. You're going to be doing ibuprofen if you can. You want to make sure that you are feeding as frequently as possible. If it's a situation where, like, the baby slept a little bit longer, like, your body is going to adapt to that. And you're probably going to feel much, much better once your baby wakes up and you can feed. But you might be like, oh my God, I'm engorged. Like,
yeah,
what is happening? It is okay. Like, just feed the baby and you're going to feel more comfortable, and your body's going to start to readjust to what to the new things that your baby is doing. Because you can't expect that if your baby's waking up every 3 hours during the night, that's going to go on forever. Eventually they're going to sleep. If you return to work, sometimes you can find some secondary engorgement settling in because you're not feeding on demand anymore. You're pumping every 3 hours instead. And that might be a little bit of a change to your body. So you might find that you need to do, change up that routine a little bit, or take some ibuprofen to try to stay comfortable. But the best thing to do is going to be to change up your pumping routine. So what about mastitis with engorgement?
Mm-hmm.
So this is like, people get really nervous about engorgement and mastitis.
Yeah.
Because it's scary, right? Like, nobody wants to get sick. But you don't typically see engorgement, like when your milk first starts coming in, when your baby is born. So primary engorgement. You don't typically see mastitis with that. And that is because it's fluid, it's blood, it's not bacteria that's causing, because bacteria is mastitis is a bacterial infection. So it's not causing mastitis when your milk is just coming in and your body is full.
Mm-hmm.
Mastitis is an inflammation of breast tissue that can be caused by an infection, which can develop from a blockage or from bacteria entering the breast. Like, that is what we know mastitis to be. So it can be caused by oversupply. So that is, one of the reasons why we want to try to tell people to kind of, if you have an oversupply of milk, to try to keep that under control, because an oversupply can lead to plugged milk ducts and swelling of the breast tissue and mastitis. So that is something that we don't want for you.
Mm-hmm.
sometimes with mastitis, you do feel the breast does feel hard, uncomfortable. If there's a blockage, that breast can feel like it's engorged. It can feel hard and uncomfortable on that breast. Again, ice, feed as frequently as you can. That is important with mastitis, to continue to feed as frequently as you would normally feed. It is not necessary for you to continue to pump, or to pump extra, I should say. Because sometimes if you get mastitis, everybody's like, empty the breast. Empty the breast. You got to empty the breast. But that's not the case. That's not true. What you want to do is you want to feed like normal. If you're a pumping parent, you want to pump like normal. You don't want to overdo it, because if you are emptying the breast, you're just going to cause more milk to come in, which is going to cause an oversupply problem. So that's what we want to kind of stay away from if possible. So no overfeeding, no overpumping with mastitis. Just do what you need to do. So just kind of keep in mind that when you get that primary engorgement with your milk coming in, that you're not at a risk for mastitis, because it's just not the same kind of thing. I promise.
I promise.
People get really nervous about that, which, I mean, nobody wants mastitis, right? And I know we've had episodes and we've talked about it, but it doesn't hurt to talk about it again. And it is like, it's an infection. Some people think that when they wake up, if they wake up engorged, like with secondary engorgement, if they wake up with secondary engorgement, that they have mastitis. And that's not true. That's not what you have. That is just your body with secondary engorgement. And if you feed, your body's going to, get more comfortable. It's going to adjust. If you have mastitis, you have infection symptoms. You have a fever. You have pain. You have, what else do you have with fever? That's kind of it. Fever, pain. You have like flu-like symptoms.
Flu-like symptoms, yeah.
Yeah, that's big. With that, you feel like a lot of people feel like, I feel like I was run over by a truck. You just have a lot of those feelings with mastitis. And your body doesn't develop an infection in just a couple of hours. So it's not like you're going to go to sleep and wake up with it. So if you don't have a fever, you don't need antibiotics. All you need to do is ice and feed. And if within 24 hours you develop a fever, then you need to start with antibiotics. But if you don't have a fever, you don't need the antibiotics. It's really common that you get nervous, you wake up with that fullness and you get nervous about it, or you had a plugged duct and you really, you're nervous about it, and you call your OB and they say, oh, you must have mastitis, and they don't even see you. They just put you on an antibiotic. And which can be really like that happened to me. I had mastitis with my first one, and I remember they didn't see, I called and they were, okay, we'll just call you in an antibiotic. Nobody saw me. And that was 25 years ago, and they're still not seeing people that frequently. I mean, the office the doctor's office where my office is, they are really good and they usually see the parent, but typically people are not seen. I mean, a lot of times they're not.
That's crazy. Like, what if that's not the problem? And there's like some unrelated emergency happening.
I know it.
That's wild.
I know it. So if you are being seen for mastitis, kudos to your doctor, because a lot of times I hear that they're just not being seen. So, you might, get called in an antibiotic, but if you don't need an antibiotic, you don't want to take one. So don't go looking for problems where there aren't any. So ice, ibuprofen, and wait it out. Wait about 24 hours and see if things get a little bit better. See if, but if you develop a fever, that's when we want to, kind of nip it in the bud. And that's when we want to start the antibiotics. but it is still important to feed the baby like you would normally be feeding the baby. And you don't want to pump extra. Don't empty the breast with that because you're just going to cause more problems, especially like a lot of times mastitis is caused by oversupply. That is what we see a lot is mastitis being caused by oversupply. So if you are draining the breast completely, that's just going to lead to more oversupply. And we need to kind of get that under control. And if you don't get that under control, you're going to end up with mastitis again, which is not what we want for you.
Mm-hmm.
So we want to try to like get that oversupply under control. Some people say
just
like
take enough milk out until you're comfortable.
Exactly. Yes. Yep. Just take enough milk out where you're comfortable. Don't pump after the baby feeds. Don't, because we still hear sometimes OBs or not pediatricians. You don't see a pediatrician. OBs or doctors saying like you have to empty the breast, and you just don't. You don't have to do that. We know that now that that's not true. That can cause more problems.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's kind of the bottom line of your engorgement and primary and secondary engorgement.
Now I know.
Yes. And now everybody knows what it is. So if you wake up full and uncomfortable, that's secondary engorgement. If your milk supply is just starting to come in, that's primary engorgement. And each one, you're going to do ice, you're going to do ibuprofen, you're going to feed your baby, and you're going to let your body adapt. And that's all.
Fascinating stuff. Thanks for
It's
listening.
so cool.
I know it is really cool. Bye.
Bye.